Imagine wearing a watch on your wrist and hearing its ticking like a falling drop, steady, reassuring. Now imagine that, without breaking and without truly stopping, that rhythm begins to slow. Not because the watch is faulty, but because the space around you is changing the way time itself can flow. Time, which in everyday life seems like a straight road, identical for everyone, is in reality more like an elastic terrain. It can tilt, bend, stretch. And when it stretches, for someone far away from you, you slowly become a figure moving in slow motion, like a film that starts to lose frames. This is not poetry. It is relativity. According to Einstein, gravity and time are intertwined because gravity is not merely a force that pulls, but a curvature of space and time, a geometry shaped by mass and energy. The closer you are to a huge mass, the lower you sit in that gravitational landscape, and the more slowly your local time flows compared to someone farther away, in a less curved region. On Earth the effect is small, but real. Clocks at different altitudes do not tick at the same rate. Even the satellites that allow us to navigate the world must correct their clocks, because up there Earth's gravity is weaker and time tends to flow a little faster than on the ground. Without those corrections, the calculated position would drift more and more each day, as if space itself were sliding beneath our feet. But if you push far beyond anything familiar, the difference stops being a technical detail and becomes an abyss. In a region of the universe where gravity is extreme, time dilation is no longer whisper. It is a silent roar. And that gives rise to the hypnotic question: does there truly exist a place in space where time flows more slowly than anywhere else? To answer that, one fundamental point must be understood. The time that flows is not a single river seen the same way by everyone. There are different times depending on who is measuring. There is proper time, the one you feel, beat by beat, breath by breath. And there is the time seen from afar, by an observer in a region where gravity is much weaker. When we say that time slows near a massive object, we are almost always comparing these two perspectives. It is not a trick. It is the very structure of reality. And now the object that more than any other turns time into a deformable substance enters the scene: the black hole. Not as a monster that devours everything, but as an extreme solution of Einstein's equations. A region where mass is concentrated so intensely that spacetime curves in a radical way. Its most famous boundary is the event horizon, the surface beyond which nothing, not even light, can return. And it is precisely there, on that threshold, that time begins to behave in such an unsettling way that it almost feels like a paradox. If you were to descend toward the horizon, watching the external universe, you would see stars and light change their rhythm and color. Photons arriving from afar would be compressed by motion and gravity, and the sky might grow brighter in certain directions. But above all, if someone far away were watching you, they would see your fall slow more and more. Your light signals, your messages, even the simple reflection off your helmet, would arrive ever fainter and redder. For that observer, you would never truly cross the horizon. You would remain suspended, frozen, as if time were thinning out until it almost stopped. And yet, from your own point of view, time does not break. Your heart keeps beating. Your thoughts continue. If the black hole were large enough, for example, a supermassive black hole at the center of a galaxy, you could cross the horizon without being immediately torn apart by tidal forces. There would be no cosmic sign saying, "Here the world ends." It would be an invisible frontier. This difference between what you experience and what someone far away sees is the first clue that the question of the slowest time has no single, simple answer, because it depends on which viewpoint you adopt and on which definition of time you are using. And within this ambiguity, the search for the slowest place becomes even more fascinating, because it forces us to choose precisely what we really mean when we say, time. If you are interested in the point where, as seen from afar, time seems almost to stop, then the event horizon is the natural threshold. But if you are interested in the point where, for a real traveler, proper time can become as economical as possible compared to those who remain far away, then you must go beyond the classic picture and move toward even more extreme scenarios, where rotation, energy, and geometry intertwine to create the slowest region that physics allows without breaking its own rules. And here the story grows even deeper, because not all black holes are the same, and not all falls are the same, and the slowness of time is not just a matter of, the closer you get, the slower it goes, but also of how spacetime chooses to drag you along as you move through it. In the simplest case, a black hole does not rotate. It is described by a spherical geometry in which the slowing of time increases as you approach it. For a distant observer, the slowdown tends toward infinity right at the horizon. It is as if that boundary were a point where communication with the outside world switches off, and with it the possibility of seeing your story continue. From this perspective, the answer seems almost definitive. The place where time flows most slowly is the edge of the black hole, the event horizon, because that is where, for someone watching from far away, the time of the falling object freezes. But the cosmos rarely offers such clean objects. Most black holes rotate because they are born from stars that were already spinning and from matter that falls in with a swirl. And rotation changes everything. A rotating black hole drags spacetime around with it, as if space were a dense substance and the black hole a spoon stirring it. This effect, called frame dragging, creates a region outside the horizon where you cannot remain at rest relative to the stars. It is like entering a current so powerful that, even if you try to swim against it, you are carried along. In this zone, known as the ergosphere, things happen that seem like magic but are really just geometry. In principle, it is possible to extract energy from the rotation, as if gravity itself became a generator. And so, if you are searching for the slowest point, you must ask yourself, does the maximum slowdown for a distant observer still coincide with the horizon? In a sense, yes, but with a crucial nuance. In a rotating black hole there are trajectories along which you can linger very close to the horizon for extraordinarily long times, at least from the perspective of someone far away, especially if you move in the direction of the rotation. Rotation can allow orbits and limiting conditions in which the difference between your time and distant time becomes enormous. It is not a simple approach. It is a dance with curvature. Here a concept enters that seems simple but is dizzying. Gravity does not only slow time, it also decides which paths are possible. If you are looking for a physical place where an object can exist without immediately falling in and without being instantly destroyed, you must consider stable or nearly stable orbits. Near a black hole, orbits do exist, but they become increasingly delicate. There is a boundary beyond which a circular orbit can no longer be stable. For a non-rotating black hole, this boundary lies relatively far from the horizon, limiting how much you can slow time while remaining in orbit. For a rotating black hole, however, that boundary can move much closer to the horizon, especially in the direction of rotation. This means that, at least in theory, an object could orbit in a region where the temporal slowdown relative to infinity is extreme. But there is another, even more unsettling idea, and it concerns the very experience of crossing the horizon. From your own point of view, as a traveler, there is no place where your proper time stops. On the contrary, if you cross the horizon, you continue to experience a finite number of seconds before reaching regions where classical physics ceases to be reliable. The idea of a point where time is minimal, understood as proper time becoming almost zero, is more elusive. Because proper time is always your time, and as long as you exist and measure it, it flows. What becomes almost infinite is the time it takes for your signals to climb back out toward distant observers, and therefore your story, from their point of view, stretches out and thins away. So what is, truly, the most honest answer to the question in the title? It depends on which universe you want to describe. If you want the point where, relative to a distant observer, time seems to slow until it freezes. That point is the event horizon of a black hole, ideally observed from very far away, in a region where gravity is negligible. In that framework, the slowness can grow arbitrarily large, approaching an apparent freeze. If instead you ask for a place where a traveler could remain and accumulate the maximum difference between their own time and that of the external universe, then the most extreme scene becomes an orbit very close to a rotating supermassive black hole, moving in the direction of its spin, at the very edge of the allowed orbits. Not because proper time vanishes, but because while hours pass for you, days, years, or more could pass for the outside world, depending on how close you are to the threshold and how extreme spacetime is. It is a difference that, in theory, can grow enormously. And here comes the most hypnotic aspect. If you could truly undertake such a journey, returning would mean discovering that your world line has diverged from that of the rest of the universe. Not in the science fiction sense of jumping between dimensions, but in the most real and merciless sense. You have simply passed through a region where the geometry of the cosmos distributes time differently. You did not stop time. You inhabited a place where other people's time ran more freely than yours. Yet even this is not the end of the enigma. Because the question of the slowest point always leads us to the edge of a boundary. The boundary between what we can describe with the laws we know and what, near the extreme, becomes the territory of new physics. Inside a black hole, toward the center, our equations predict a singularity, a place where curvature diverges. But there, words like flow, slow, and even time lose their usual meaning. It is not certain that a singularity truly exists as a physical point. It may be a signal that something is missing, a complete theory, a quantum gravity capable of telling us what happens when spacetime is pushed beyond its limit. So the point in space where time flows most slowly, as far as we can say today, is a threshold, not a room. It is the event horizon as seen from afar, or the region just outside it where rotation and gravity collaborate to compress the rhythm of the world. It is not a place you should imagine as a dot on a map, but as a condition of reality. A place where time does not cease to exist, but ceases to be the same for everyone. And perhaps this is the greatest vertigo of all. There is no single cosmic clock ticking for the universe. There are infinitely many clocks, each with its own beat, and gravity is the invisible hand that decides how much each beat can stretch. When you think about the slowest time, you are not just searching for a distant place. You are looking at the very fabric of the cosmos, and discovering that its deepest fiber is not made of matter or light, but of relationships. Relationships between those who fall and those who observe, between those who are near and those who remain far away, between the path you choose and the curvature that receives you. If you close your eyes and imagine that boundary, do not picture a black hole as a hole in nothingness. Picture it as an extreme lens that bends time almost to stillness, at least for those watching from the outside. And imagine that, somewhere in the universe, there might be a place where, while you take a single breath, an entire civilization elsewhere could pass through generations. Not because fate has accelerated their journey, but because you chose the point where time, for you, learned to walk more slowly. If you have made it this far, it means you love curiosity as much as we do. If you enjoyed this journey, leave a like, write a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It is the best way to support what we do. Your presence truly makes a difference. Until the next exploration.